In this video, I'm going to show you how to paint your Ork Boys in the colours of the Goths for Warhammer 40,000. We'll cover everything, including how to tackle painting their clothes and equipment, how to bring out all those details, and then we'll look at how to make them look like Goths. Don't worry though, because this will be broken down step by step so it's easy to follow along with, and by the end you'll have the knowledge and confidence to get your own Goff Ork Boys fully painted. And if you stick around until the end, I'll show you how to paint checks and add even more interest to your miniatures. My name's Michael and welcome to TableTopReady. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to paint your Ork Boys in the colours of the mighty Goths. And so you know, all the paints and brushes I use will be shown on the screen as I use them, and they'll also be listed in the description along with links to my favourite hobby tools and equipment you see me using. And before we get started, we'll first have to get our Ork Boys ready for painting, which involves building them and getting them undercoated. Because you're going to be painting so many Ork Boys, it's best just to fully assemble them to keep things simple. For the undercoat we use a Mechanica standard grey, but feel free to undercoat them whatever colour you prefer. If you want to learn more about getting your miniatures ready for painting, I do have a dedicated video on the channel that covers sub-assemblies and undercoating your miniatures in depth, so make sure to go and check that out. So when you're ready and have your Ork Boys built and undercoated, we can get started. We're first going to look at how to get all the materials and equipment painted, then bring out all the details helping them to stand out. An Ork Boy can look really complicated to paint with all the different details, so for me the best place to start is choosing colours for all the different materials and equipment. This lets us spend time choosing what colours we want to paint everything, and painting becomes less overwhelming. Let's start with a t-shirt painting this Morghast bone, and whenever we're painting we want to thin our paints, and I find an equal amount of water does the trick. I also like to remove excess paint from the brush on some paper towel first, which helps give us more control when painting. Then when you're ready to start painting, we want to keep our brush moving and avoid going over any areas we've already painted to prevent creating any unwanted texture whilst the paint is still drying. Once the first layer is done, because we thinned our paint, it won't have covered very well, so we'll need to repeat the process and paint another layer. This lets us build up to a solid colour without losing any details. I do have a dedicated video on the channel that talks all about the importance of thinning our paints, so if you want to learn more about why we do it and how we can improve our painting, make sure to go and check it out. It can be really easy to overlook the very basics, even just how we apply paint to our miniatures, but this has to be one of the most impactful steps to how our miniatures end up looking. Now we have our t-shirt painted, let's work on getting the other materials painted. First the trousers with Mechanica standard grey. For straps and belts, we can paint these using dry out bark. After that, let's paint the kit slings with Steel Legion drab. If you have any wraps or stitches, we can paint these using Wraithbone. Then finally, the boots can be painted with Abaddon black. Just remember that these are only examples and you can paint the different materials whatever colours you want. In fact, if we mix up the colours across our unit, it helps add contrast, character and orky personality to large mobs of boys. When we're painting our orcs, we do want to try and be as neat as we can, but if you're anything like me, you're going to be messy and make mistakes. That's completely okay though, because once we finish painting all the different areas, we can spend some time cleaning up any mistakes. Now we're done with all the materials, we can start working on the equipment. Let's begin with lead belcher for any details we want to be silver. Then we can create some contrast and variety by using Runelord brass for the stick bombs and some of the details on the shooters. Lastly, the bullets can be painted with Retributor armour. We can finish up our materials and equipment by adding a splash of colour, and for me I think Mephiston Red really stands out against all those earthy tones, but feel free to choose whatever colour you like. When it comes to painting orcs, the main goal is to just have fun, that's why we collect them, and I don't think I've ever actually seen two orc armies look the same, so don't worry about it. Even though we've done a lot of painting, our boys are looking a bit flat, so let's see how we can bring out all those details. The most straightforward method is using Agrax Earthshade, because this will flow into all those recesses and details, creating definition, and it's why we painted all of our materials and equipment to start with. When using any kind of shade, we want to thoroughly shake the pot first, then use enough to cover our details comfortably, but not so much it pulls up in areas we don't want it to. If you do see any pooling, just use your brush to pull away the excess. It's also important to keep an eye on it as it dries. because shades can continue to collect in unwanted spots. Once the shade is fully dried, hopefully you can see how it's helped bring out all those details, made our equipment look more weathered and oily, and helped bring everything together. Something else these areas will benefit from are some line highlights, which will help draw our attention to edges, raised areas, and important details. For our highlights, I'm going to show you how to line or edge highlight our details, which gives us a much cleaner look. And because we've used so many colours, I suggest just choosing a lighter colour to highlight with. So for example, for our darker browns, we can use Goff Ork Brown. And when highlighting, we still want to thin our paint with an equal amount of water. And I also like to remove excess paint on some paper towel first, as this gives us more control and helps prevent those thick blobby lines. When you're ready, the most important thing to remember is to take your time. We can think of highlighting as simply painting thin lines along edges and details where we want our highlights to be. Once you've finished highlighting the brown details, hopefully you'll see what a difference it's made, and we can move on to highlighting the other colours. Let's start with Screaming Skull for any cream colours and lighter browns. Then we can use some Dawnstone for any grey tones, Thunderhawk Blue for our black boots, and if you painted details red, we can use Squig Orange. If you want more help with highlighting and want to know what helped me improve, make sure to check out my dedicated video showing you how. For me, highlighting has to be one of the most important techniques to really practice and get our heads around, because not only does it help to improve the look of our miniatures, but it also helps to improve our brush control and hand-eye coordination, making us better painters overall. To highlight the equipment and weapons, we're using Stormhost Silver, and when dealing with more angular details, highlighting them is actually quite straightforward, as they've got lots of strong defined edges. We can simply angle the brush and run the side of it along these edges to create clean, consistent highlights. Of course, there will be areas where you can't rely on just using the edge of your brush, and for those you can take your time and paint thin lines where we want the highlights to be. We've now learnt a lot about painting and got all of our materials and equipment painted. Next, we're going to move on to one of the most important parts of any orc miniature, and that's painting the orc skin. This section is the most important section of the tutorial because we're going to learn how to paint orc skin. Let's paint the base colour for our skin using auric flesh, and it's especially important to get a solid smooth colour. At the same time, we want to paint the nails and the lower eyelids with Caliban green. Once you have your solid base colour, we want to bring out the details of Beltane green, making sure it flows into all the features and recesses of the skin, helping to create our definition. After the Beltane green is fully dried, things are looking messy on the flatter areas of the skin, so let's layer with even thin layers of auric flesh for a much smoother, more natural finish. Let's finish the skin by using Nurgling green to paint thin highlights along raised details and muscles. For the nails and eyelids, we want to use Cabalite green. I know that a lot of orc collectors like to have a variety of skin tones as well, and this can be easily done by following the same steps. All we need to do is change up the shades and the tones of greens we use, and this is going to give us an endless possibility of creating unique looking boys. If you want to get fancy, we can add warmth to the green skin with thin layers of Cadian flesh tone on features like the lower lip, ears and even knuckles. These features can then be highlighted with Kislev flesh to help them stand out more against the green skin. When it comes to painting teeth, these can be really simple, first painting them with Morghast bone. Then to highlight the teeth, we can paint thin texture lines using Screaming Skull towards the tip of the teeth, making them more interesting. And with the teeth done, our orc skin is painted, and we've even learnt how to add some extra colour to contrast against the green. So the last thing left to do is to paint the colours of the iconic Goth clan. In this final section of the tutorial, I want to show you how to paint the colours and details of the Goth clan. To make our boy a member of the Goth clan, let's paint the armour black using Abaddon black. When you're done, we can go straight to highlighting, but let's start with a chunky highlight using Dark Reaper, and this wants to be a thicker line so we can still see it once we do our edge highlights after this. When you're happy with those, let's move on to our edge highlights, painting these with Fenrisine Grey. Doing a two-stage highlight like this really helps to soften our highlights and add extra tonal variety as well. When we're painting miniatures, I find that adding extra details like checkered patterns is the part that I enjoy the most, and it's these little touches that are really going to help our miniatures stand out on the tabletop. When it comes to painting the iconic checkered pattern, let's use Corax White, and I would start by painting a grid, and then once you're happy with the size and spacing, fill in every other square to create the design. This doesn't have to be perfect, I've just spent time going back and forth making sure I'm happy with it. After that we can paint scuffs and scratches with the bad and black to make our checkered pattern look more worn and interesting. We're nearly done, so let's finish off the last few details, starting with any horns and painting these with Skavenblight Dinge. To highlight them we can use Screaming Skull just like we did with the teeth. Let's continue to get lighter towards the tips with White Scar, and let's actually do this for the teeth as well. Some fun steps we can do to add a bit of weathering are to use Stormhouse Silver to paint scratches and chips onto the armour. We can then thin down some Mournfang Brown and paint it around a few studs and recesses to represent dirt, grime and rust. This helps make the armour look more worn and battle scarred. Finally, let's bring the orc to life, painting the eyes with Mephiston Red, finishing up with a spot of Squig Orange in the centre to highlight them. If you know me, you'll know that I've painted a lot of orcs on the channel, and I'm especially happy with how this one turned out. It's been a really enjoyable challenge to figure out how to get lots of boys painted while still have them stand out on the tabletop. So let's see how it turned out. But before we see the finished miniature, I want to say a massive thank you to all the amazing people who've made this tutorial possible with their continued support. It really means a lot. Your generosity allows me to get all the paints, brushes and miniatures I need to make these tutorials, so I can continue to help you get better at painting. And I especially want to thank everyone who's recently become a supporter or has donated to the channel. Thank you so much. If you enjoy the content here on TableTopReady and feel you get value from it, head over to the TableTopReady website where you can find ways to support the channel and help me create even more content. I also have a newsletter to keep you up to date with new tutorials, masterclasses and what I get up to behind the scenes. As a thank you for signing up, you'll also receive a free guide packed with tips and advice on how to improve your miniature painting. We've now finished painting our Ork Boy in the iconic colours of the Goff clan, and I hope I've been able to give you the confidence and knowledge to paint your own. I've got plenty of other tutorials on the channel showing you how to improve your painting, and if you want to learn how to paint the biggest and baddest of the orcs, Ghazghkull Thraka, I have a masterclass available through Patreon and YouTube memberships. I really do enjoy making these tutorials and I hope you find them useful. If you do, then please leave a like and let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing about your own hobby and what you thought of the video. As well, make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on future content, and I'll see you in the next video.